commented saying I should do a part 3 on basically how these jobs are basically going to collapse, right? About how, talk about what they're going to be doing based on like digital IDs and stuff. Here's what a lot of people don't already know. Just like, okay, so in this country, we have an illusion, right? We have physical dollars, right? The dollar bill, the big face hundred, you know, we got these dollar bills, right? This paper money, fiat money. But a lot of us don't know that money's already digitized. It's already digital. It's already a part of like some digital system that they already have, which is their way of actually, printing and making this money. The physical part is just an illusion. So regarding digital IDs, right? So I'm having this talk with ChatGPT, and because somebody said talk about the digital IDs, right? So in my mind, I'm already thinking we already got digital IDs, like our driver's license, our state IDs, your CDL license. In this country, it's already digitized. So you have an illusion of a physical ID that you think is a physical ID, which, yes, it is a physical ID, but it's also digitally encrypted already. The only thing is, when you go into the new revolution, they really want to connect the digital part even more so to like your lively selves, like your lively data or something like that. Basically, it's just another form or aspect of merging human with artificial intelligence, basically to make you, in a sense, transhuman, right? And, in turn, you have these corporations, right? You won't be able to get into the building unless you have these IDs. You won't be able to buy and sell goods unless you have these IDs. That's kind of like what they talk about in the Revelation. Even if you got the ID, because in the far future, it ain't going to be really digital IDs. It's going to be more so digital implanted, maybe microchips or something like that. I don't know if they're going to put it, I don't know if they're going to put it in your hand or your head or the side of your head. I always think about the game Cyberpunk 2077. So if you were a part of a corporation, right, you won't even be able to fill out job applications or go to another job for an interview. They'll be able to track you to see that, oh, he's being disloyal. Like, it'll be more than just an identification. It'll show everything, your crime, how many children you have. It'll show if you were speeding. It'll get so drastic. It'll show probably your calorie intake for the day, what you bought at the corner store or Amazon store, because it might be an Amazon store that might take over all the stores, or Walmart might stay. So it'll be more than just a digital ID. It'll basically be creating like a digital twin, to where whatever's happening in this physical realm is going to also transpire into the digital land. And it might involve a whole lot of things, different technology, as far as obviously artificial intelligence, but it might be encrypted on a blockchain, or different types of blockchains, to where they basically have like a digital ledger, to where you won't need people to, or, like social workers and stuff. You won't need any of these government people to really track your info. It'll be tracked, with what you would call trust, through these, basically the AI and the all that stuff. So it'll be a highly advanced technological society. But basically, I was talking to ChatGPT because I already know it's digitized. I just know in the new world, right, they want to connect human to AI and create transhumans, basically making us damn like the Baphomet almost. But even though if you talk about the Democrat side or the far left side, they push the transgender aspect of it. On this red side, Republican side or whatever, they bring in the transhuman side, you know, connecting human to machine, you know, and then that will further on in the future make us further dimmed. You know, we'll be dim, we'll be dense, we'll be dark, and then you'll be more so condemned because you won't be able to go to that real source of light. It's kind of like if somebody was trying to be like Christ-like, you know, and you want to go to that original source of light, the original creator in the future, you'll be able to go there. But you won't be able to if you're controlled by who people will call Saturn or the demiurge or the ruler that controls everything within this particular firmament of space, matter, and time. So you'll basically be dealing with the false God, not necessarily the transcendent God or the true creator of all worlds, basically. So yeah, I basically talked to ChatGPT, basically asking the, you know, simple questions. In America, on our state IDs and driver's licenses already digital? And then ChatGPT answers, good question, yes and no. Here's the breakdown. Physical versus digital ID. Physical cards are still the official form of identification everywhere in the U.S. You need them for all things like traffic stops, voting, or entering federal buildings, which is basically showing you that they have to scan and all that stuff. Not all the time, but. And then they say, however, digital IDs, meaning a secure smartphone-based version of your driver's license state ID, are becoming more common. The smartphone part is basically because it's not in us yet, and they know that mostly everybody in the States is using their smartphone basically more than anything. Now, think of the smartphone as like a controller, like a ruler of the things that we have to deal with. Like, so we evolved from like the television, right? And that's the aspect of Saturn. Saturn is like the black cube, you know, that basically controls matter, space, and time. So we evolved from the television, right? We had the television, and then we start getting computers, which are basically just black screens, but they represent the black cube. And now we basically have our cell phones. So that's part of the aspect of controlling basically what we do on a daily basis. But yeah, the digital IDs are becoming smartphone based, and they are becoming more common. It also shows like the digital driver's licenses. You got Apple Wallet, you got Google Wallet, and I've looked into the Google Wallet. They are basically expanding in multiple states to be able to pull this off. So you got certain DMV apps too. But it also say these digital IDs are state issued and verified. So they're official, but not yet accepted everywhere. For example, TSA accepts them at secret or at select airports. Law enforcement and retailers may or may not accept them depending on state policy and technology. So yeah, it's not completely rolled out because everywhere you go, it's not going to be as technologically advanced as the next state or place. But it will be rolling out sometime soon. Now the transition phase. So right now, the U.S. is in a hybrid phase. Physical ID still required everywhere. Digital ID, optional convenience that's slowly being integrated. Privacy and control. The push for digital IDs is part of a larger modernization trend. Yeah, it's more so. It's basically how this neo society or new society is gonna be. It's gonna be more digitally ran, but more so digitally ran by being connected to us. See, we already had this digital stuff, and we already had the computers. We already had like narrow AI technologies and stuff, but they weren't necessarily connected to us. Now they want to be able to connect it all to us. Now, all artificial intelligence is not going to be bad, but the bottom line is that in the future, it will all become bad. That's just the sad reality regarding that. Let me continue reading. But it raises questions about data privacy, government tracking, and centralized identity systems, similar to what you might see in digital ID programs abroad. Now, it's going to always be centralized as long as we have a leader of government, a leader of these top corporations that's basically eating up the smaller corporations. And yeah, we are going to have, and because we run off like a money system, like we're going to get away from the whole paper fiat system that's really digitalized. Now they finna get rid of all the fakeness for you and bring in a reality of everything being digitized. So in this new financial system, because they basically are going to siphon the wealth or the little wealth that the poor people already have, we're going to start to experience our first multi-trillion CEOs. And then we're going to start experiencing our first $100 trillion, or you might even find a quadrillion dollar company in the future. And that's just what it's going to be. You're going to have your super, basically like you basically going to have your super wealthy people. And the militaries are going to be, you're going to have some government militaries, but they're going to be more so controlled by large, giant technological programs or corporations or companies. They're going to be the ones controlling everything. Like as you see already with Google, maybe Amazon coming to the mix, or maybe somebody new that comes into the mix. But yeah. And then I asked ChatGPT, but we already have scanning on the back of IDs. And so ChatGPT answered exactly, and that's a sharp observation. Yes, the back of your driver's license or state ID already includes digital data, but that's not the same as fully digital ID. Let me explain the difference clearly. What's on the back of your ID is basically a barcode or magnetic strip on the back that stores all the printed info on the front, such as, and this is the list of what they already hold on these cards digitally: your name, date of birth, address, license number, expiration date, physical descriptions. But in the future, they're going to have far more than that. Like I've already explained, you know, you got traffic tickets. Do you have misdemeanors or felonies? Who your children are? Did you say something bad on social media, if there's a social media? Where you work at? You know, did you violate your job, or did you do something wrong? They're going to have far more stuff on there, like a social crediting system equipped with all this other digital stuff. It's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be connected to it. When someone scans your ID, they're just reading the encoded data. It's still coming from the plastic card in your hand. So technically, yes, it's digitized data, but it's not connected to your live database or your phone. And yeah, they're going to connect it to our phones, but in the future, it's going to be connected to us. Just understand that. So yeah, a driver's license, on the other hand, lives on, well, digital driver's license, it lives on your smartphone in a secure wallet app. Can update in real time, lets you share only certain details, and it's cryptographically verified by the state, not just scanned like a barcode. Yeah, because they've always had, like, when you see like the whole thing with cryptocurrencies and stuff like that on the blockchain, they've always had crypto currencies. They've always had crypto in the blockchain. It's just that now they're just introducing it to you like it's new, because technology is basically recycled technology that they've been having for many years. It's just that, like, they've already been, they basically were tested on the people for about 20, 30 years, 20, 30, 40 years, and then they'll bring it out to you like it's something that literally just came yesterday. But they've always been testing it on us. So, yeah, man, so it's basically what it is. Yeah, peace. I got another video or another clip basically talking about digital IDs. That's why if you want to have children, it's funny. This is the worst time to have children, maybe on a financial situation, but if you're talking about like on a spiritual situation and not having people to have full control of your children, this might be the best time to have children if we're talking about digital IDs. Now, I'm gonna read this. No, Bill Gates isn't implanting digital IDs in newborn babies in Kenya, because there was a story about Kenyans being able to they were about to like allow newborn babies to basically be chipped with digital IDs, or something was happening, but I think it probably was too much outrage, so they've changed and switched it up. Bill Gates, the head of Microsoft, I don't think these people are good people at all. But if you could buy out the top people in certain countries, maybe they'll let you bypass with your evilness and do what you are wanting to do. So a social media video claimed billionaire Microsoft Corporation co-founder and philanthropist, or Satanist allegedly, Bill Gates, will be leading the charge to implant digital IDs in Kenyan babies. This was going on way before what's happening in UK. So I've been looking at this. It's been a few years since they've been talking about this. So they say Bill Gates will be, and then it say right here, Bill Gates will be implanting digital IDs in newborns in Kenya, which was the December 15th Instagram post that was said. But then it say, but the video misleads on 2 counts. It misrepresented Kenya's digital ID program and took an unrelated Bill Gates video clip out of context. It might have been taken out of context, but we know exactly what they're going to do in the future. You want to do it in a way to where you're not really forcing people to do it. You want to do it in a way to where people happily allow it to happen. That way you could blame the people or hold the people accountable for what they're doing and not doing. Just like what you see with everything that's changing. Yeah, they're going to do things and there's going to be a big outrage, but in the future, there's going to be an event that's going to happen and people are going to willingly give up, basically their ownership to themselves, because they already taken the ownership away from the people regarding housing and being able to drive cars, or they've sort of gotten a grasp on the children by the state, because you got to basically do certain things or the state will take your child away. So when they start to be able to individually take people, like literally, then it's basically game over. But yeah, that's basically on that, basically showing what they were doing, or what they were thinking about doing with Kenya and stuff like that, because they want to push it but I think they trying to figure out like how to do it. You know, but yeah, you can read it right there, PolitiFact, and then that's basically talking about the whole Kenyan thing with the newborns and stuff. But yeah, new digital scheme to be rolled out across UK. A new digital scheme will help combat illegal working. See how they blame the immigrants for, you know, everything, but the people don't see it, and so the people are blaming the immigrants as well. Now I think there's people like an outrage, but that's what they're going to do. They're going to continue to blame the human, blame the people, so they can roll out what they're trying to roll out. And then sooner or later we'll be controlled by artificial intelligence, robots and algorithms and machines, and we're going to have this digital world to where we are connected to these things, and we'll be fully condemned, most of us at least. A lot of people already going to pick two sides. They're either going to be people that's living out in the forest or the woods, or whatever you want to call it, or the jungles or the desert, anywhere to be away from this type of society. And then you're going to have certain hybrid people who got connections to the city areas to where they can get certain resources and take them back out to the forelands or the outlawed spots. And then you're going to have people that's basically going to be fully condemned. They're going to be chipped up. They're going to be they're going to give their whole life away to these jobs or these corporations, and it's going to be so drastic to where you won't be able to leave your job, corporation, or you might get unalived, you might get erased, or if the technology is bad enough, you might get to a point to where you won't be able to experience death. You'll just be somebody getting their consciousness switched over to another body, to another body, to another body, and you'll just continue to be a slave in that particular manner. But let me see. Digital IDs will be mandatory for right to work checks by the end of the parliament. So there will be free digital IDs for those living in the UK. Will curb the prospect of work for illegal migrants, a significant factor in driving small boat crossings. Scheme will also make it easier for the public to access the services they are entitled to. A new digital ID scheme will help combat illegal working while making it easier for the vast majority of people to use vital government services. Digital ID will be mandatory for right to work checks by the end of the parliament. The scheme will be available to all UK citizens and legal residents, saving time by ending the need for complicated identity checks, which often rely on copies of paper records. Instead, the rollout will in time make it simpler to apply for services like driver's licenses, child care, and welfare. Like I said, they're gonna put your children on these IDs and your driver's license, and it's gonna be a lot of other stuff. If you do something wrong, you know, all the things that you supposedly own or rent, all that stuff is gonna be digitized, encrypted, is all gonna be on there. And if you do something wrong, they can also shut it off. So then you'll be basically fucked to where you can't do anything, you know. The new ID will be held on people's phones, just as millions already use the NHS app or contactless mobile payments. There will be no requirement for individuals to carry their ID or be asked to produce it, but digital ID will be mandatory as a means of providing your right to work. So yeah, man, that's basically what it's gonna be. It's something that, you know, you're living under the rulership of Satan, Lucifer, however you want to look at it. This is his world. You're not gonna be able to beat it. What people have to do, basically what people have to do, you have to come together, create a community or a village. People gotta be willing to accept the right roles or roles necessary, and I know that's a problem regarding relationships because, you know, uh, especially in the recent modern, relationship paradigm, because I know it's hard for a lot of men and women to even come together for simple stuff. So, I mean, just be prepared for somebody to not want to, listen to what you may have in store, even if you know more than them, because everybody is so narcissistic and self-centered that they don't want to hear the truth, you know, and the truth may come with simple stuff, the woman being able to raise the children, or be the primary when it comes to raising the children as the man go out and work or figure out a way to produce money. And why would that be a good thing? Or why would somebody combat something like that when that's nature? If you go against anti-nature, or if you're for anti-nature, then you're for the antichrist. You're for everything that doesn't involve doing things the right way. The woman, she has breasts, right? And if she's eating healthy enough, right, she will be able to deal with the health benefits that it takes to feed the child or the baby. And the baby's supposed to love the mother first anyway. How can the baby do that if the mother's going to work? On top of the fact that jobs are already going away, it's an overinflation in ownership. So maybe the man should focus on work and going outside to bring things in, and the woman should more so focus on the internal core structure of what's going on in the home to be able to produce for the children. It's kind of like, it's kind of like bringing the electric and the magnetic energies together, or the yin and the yang together, and you get that union that's coming out of it, But I don't know. It's a lot of relationships that people are not going to be able to deal with, and it's just going to cause these internal issues. And if people can't solve that, and people trying to do things alone, it's just going to make things completely harder. But yeah, man, that's all I got. All you have to do is, it's harder said than done, but we need to just simplify our lives and let this world go, in a sense, turn to the Most High. If you gotta work, you still gotta work. I'm not talking about that, but it's time to stop all of the petty things that's happening in this world. So it is what it is. Peace.